Welcome to Mindshock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and we are back with another live Q&A, the fifth one to be exact, on none other than Super Bowl Sunday. Hope everybody brought a lot of interesting questions today. I'll be answering all of them in typical Mindshock fashion, with logic and reason at the forefront. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. You could also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. Like and share Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, and Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. So we actually are going to be having a lot more guests coming soon. Many astute individuals and so-called experts in a variety of topics, all the way from epistemology to various scientific endeavors, and of course, true crime and conspiracies as well. So, how is everybody doing Super Bowl Sunday? Personally, I'm not into propaganda and indoctrination, so I haven't been watching. I don't even know where to watch it. I don't even know who's playing. All I know is that pop star who looks exactly like that occult witch is supposedly trying to boost the ratings, so to speak. Alright, let's see who's in the chat here. Flat Bob. Unfortunately, I have to be up super early tomorrow, so if it's okay with you, I'll ask my question preemptively. It's the same question I've been asking for a while now. Please know up front, I'm not asking you to make a claim or take a side. I've heard you say a few times you've heard some legitimate arguments for the heliocentric globe model. Can you please tell me what the arguments are? The legitimate argument for a globe? Well, by legitimate, I mean there's some kind of substance to it, not that it's true. I actually went over some of them on the flat earth analysis. I'm trying to remember which one. The last one, no, there's no way that was, it was the David Whitehead one, I believe. I mean, it doesn't, they don't prove the globe or anything, but I think I mentioned a few on that one. I don't know if I want to put that whole debate on the screen right now and go through it. This is kind of a generic Q&A. But again, I wouldn't use equatorial mounts as definitive proof for a spherical globe Earth, because obviously you got to deal with frame of reference. But that would be a better argument than, for example, ships going over the horizon or any of that nonsense. Meg Loves Cute is up in here. How's it going? Flat Bob also said Flat Earth hasn't met the burden of proof, so I'm wondering what you would require as proof. Okay, so the same proof that I would use for the globe, I would use to give credence to Flat Earth. The problem all goes back to the continents. First of all, are the continents even where the so-called powers that be say they are in relation to each other? I brought up what I would consider would have to be done to it's the easiest and the simplest, but not the least expensive. It would still be expensive. You would need to fly planes with colored exhaust, extremely low altitude, from the southern tip of South America, the southern tip of South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and possibly even island groups in between those continents. And you just fly them to Antarctica with colored exhaust. Each one has a different color. So, whatever, hot pink for South America, fluorescent green for South Africa, purple for Australia, whatever, bright red for New Zealand. And you would have, so they'd have 360 cameras on them, and there would be tons of drones flying in between each plane with line of sight verification on people in boats all across. So that way, and they're flying pretty low altitude. And the colored exhaust, some kind of non-lethal chemtrail or whatever, just so it would stay in the sky for many, many hours. So you can verify the route the plane is taken. And obviously all live streamed, countless drones, cameras, and people on boats filming all of it. That would be pretty decent. Okay. What's up, Dave, Scott, Justin, Johnson, Pinto Sack? Does it bug you when people talk about their favorite team as we? We played well last night. Yeah, the collective narcissism. I wouldn't say bother. It's just they kind of prove their logicality by associating themselves with the team. The team played. No one else played. It was the team. I mean, I wouldn't be bothered if they said our team, as in the team representing their city or whatever. But no, they were not the ones who played. The team played. I am Ion's Cat. When is your Steven Seagal show drop? Still working on it. That one's gonna be a big, exhaustive one. If you haven't checked out the David Hasselhoff podcast I did, I mean, the deep dive is probably gonna be even deeper than the Hasselhoff deep dive. I mean, we're gonna examine every aspect of Steven Seagal's life, all the claims, including his supposed fight with Bruce Lee. Do you ever drop into Flat Earth Fridays? I don't know what that is. Is that a Discord or a Twitter show? I am Ion's Cat. Would you ever consider live moderating a debate? I think I answered this question on every single Q&A on the previous 4. Not in the current debate format because it's so inefficient. I mean, I guess I could do a brief overview of what I said on the other live Q&As. So the current format is just so inefficient because you have guys who, for example, if they don't understand what the scientific method is, how is any real debate even going to occur? Because they'll just be talking in circles. If they don't understand even basic logical fallacies like circular reasoning, begging the question, false dichotomy, then the whole thing's going to be a big waste of time. So what I've kind of proposed, and then also with all the interrupting or spam repetition, that have to be a few things done. One, basic definitions need to be gone over. I'm not really a Steven Crowder fan, but Crowder's Change My Mind format was actually half decent because he went over basic definitions in the dictionary, or he had some kind of printouts, and he would ask whoever was sitting down whether they agreed with those empirically verifiable definitions or not. Because if they don't agree, I mean, if they have their own definition they want to bring, then they can kind of get on the same page at the beginning. And if they can't, there's no real debate. But if they can, or that could be the debate itself, instead of all of this that's happening, everybody's building a house of cards and spending countless hours in just these circular arguments at the top of a house of cards when that could have all been prevented by just a quick 5-minute intro. And then to kind of counter the interrupting, pretty much either some kind of train horn or something that only goes through the headphones of the person interrupting as a warning. because there needs to be real penalties for interrupting. Other people have suggested that people need to put their money where their mouth is, and that each logical fallacy should cost them $20 or something. I hope Sartain's loaded. But yeah, no, there needs to be a more efficient format. Otherwise, what's the point? Other than entertainment. Andy asked, oh, wait, hold on a second. We got a couple more. Dark Side of the Moon. Hey, Dark Side, are you the one that flipped and you now think Stephen Avery's guilty somehow? We can spend a little bit of time talking about that. I am the logical legend, the fallacy finisher. All of you are logical legends. I mean, anybody who'd even want to listen to Mindshock is already a logical legend. Flat Bob responded, yeah, that's a great point. We don't know where anything is for sure. That's a good test. I wish we had the kind of money to do these experiments to see what the verdict is. Well, it's not just about money, because you do have the military presence. I mean, who's going to even allow that? The Antarctic Treaty, of course, is pretty clear, and people have been arrested for doing that. A lot of these anti-flat Earth grifters, they pretend nobody's actually been arrested for trying to explore Antarctica on their own. I mean, they have. There was that Norwegian guy, and then I think there was another guy. And there might have been other issues, but yeah, it wouldn't be simple. Like, even if you have the money, I don't know if, like, how would you do the test anyway? Like, what are the charters for that to get to all those continents? And ideally, you'd also have some kind of really high altitude balloons pointing down. The test would have to be even more. We'd have to have probably these super, like, just as high as I guess you can send the high altitude balloons. I don't know what the highest one was. And then you have a whole bunch of them with 360 cameras. So that way, hopefully, you'd be able, you should be, if they're around Antarctica, if the Earth is a globe, Antarctica is the claimed approximate 12,000 mile circumference continent, those hot air balloons should be able to see those colored non-lethal chemtrails from all of the planes flying, in which case you could verify that that continent is the claimed size, and in relation to all the other continents. That's pretty damn good evidence for a globe, because then you could just repeat the same experiment in the Arctic Circle. And then just, to be thorough, you can also repeat it between America and Europe, America and Southeast Asia, and, you would just do it a couple different times in different places. I mean, ideally, doing it all simultaneously would be the best, because then you'd have real-time verification of all continents in relation to each other. Little bit of a lag on this, so apologies for that. Not every stream can be lag free. YouTube's a little inconsistent. Sometimes it's pretty good, but I think this one's like maybe even more than a 10-second lag. Rodney retracted his message. Feel free to send it again. And he asked, Bruce, what do you think about the Sons of Odin role in the Delphi case? I think it's probably a factor. Now, we don't know what the factor is. It could be, not that I'm leaning towards this, it's simply a possibility that if it wasn't the Sons of Odin directly involved, someone might have just been planting some kind of occult paraphernalia to point the finger at them. So that might be the factor, or they were involved. Either or. It seems like there's some kind of Sons of Odin factor. Dave Scott, non-lethal chemtrail, there's a concept, yeah. The ad hom annihilator. I am Ion's cat. Wouldn't live stream and monitoring lying down of an undersea cable from Chile to New Zealand be enough proof you could tell the exact distance in meters? From Chile to New Zealand, yes, but what about all the other continents? Rodney said it is called berging, basking in reflecting reflected glory in relation to what? Flat Earth Fridays is an X Spaces hosted every Friday by 100 Crypto Keys. Oh yeah, I think I have seen that. I haven't. Yeah, maybe I'll jump in on that. See what's going on there next week or so. What's up, Riz? Run Boston Bear. These Q&As are so much fun. Justin Johnson, it's about the viewers, not the debaters. Well, yeah, that's true, but it would be nice if there was some efficiency, because if it's all circular reasoning arguments after the first 20 minutes, there's nothing to learn. because because there's nothing there. If they could at least agree on definitions and understand the basic fallacies, it would be so much more efficient. Oh, Rodney says, when a sports fan says we in relation to Berging, basking in reflected glory. Meg loves cute. I miss Dave Landau on Louder with Crowder. I am Iron's Cat. I like your debate ideas, Bruce. Thank you. I am Super Chat. Bro, please join the Earth Awakenings Discord. Has the, in quotations, smartest flat earthers and globers discussing every day. Mods do a pretty good job. Yeah, so I'm not on Discord. Maybe I'll check it out. I've just never really gotten into Discord. But thanks for the super chat. Flat Bob, might be a personal question, but do you like and or own any firearms? Also, do you stock up on food and water and supplies? Flat Bob, I'm gonna answer with a question. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. What do you think? Dark Side, yes, he's guilty for Stephen Avery. Even though there's no actual evidence of guilt. Even though the same corrupt cops that are involved in dozens and dozens of cases of corruption and frame-ups going back decades framed the guy when there wasn't 36 mil, their livelihoods, jobs, and egos on the line. But somehow magically they wouldn't do it when there was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the biggest issue, Dark Side, is if he's guilty, and again, I never said he wasn't guilty. It's just obviously none of that went down the way the state alleged, because there's no logical way for that to have happened, simply because Avery was constantly coming and going, talking to dozens of people on his property. I mean, the garage was so packed you didn't even have room for 3 people to kill someone, let alone just walk around in there. And then there's zero evidence in the trailer. I mean, literally nothing. I mean, the cops are just hanging out, sitting on the bed where somebody's allegedly getting assaulted and murdered. I mean, just really weird. Can't even get the actual RAV4 key, and then that's obviously not even the RAV4. I mean, Dark Side, I know you were going off on how he's guilty, but you never actually mentioned anything, any substance to that. Truth Seeker Investigations is in here. Wow. Okay. All right. I am Iron's Cat. Mindshock, you're good. In relation to what? Rune is in the house. What's up, Rune? Truth Seeker, this is just a generic live chat. This isn't More Murray live Q&A. Although I will be doing another one probably in another week or so. Checking out some more info. Sam and Mario in here. What's up? Mario, Delphi anniversary coming up. Yeah. Sam, will you ever do a case from the UK? Well, I did Nicola Bully, and then I did the Ireland Triangle as well. If you haven't checked those out. Dave Scott, when is the next chapter of Craig Fight the Flat Earth going to drop? Looking forward to the conclusion. The thrilling conclusion of whether or not Craig will manage to get Sartain's crown for the Dunning-Kruger Championships. I'm still kind of ironing out the new system. I was trying to see how it would work with Matt Walsh's moon landing video. Man, Matt Walsh was breaking the combo counter on fallacy combos. I mean, Matt Walsh might be the best at comboing. I mean, his combo skills are pretty awesome. So I'm still kind of ironing that out before, because once it's unleashed on Craig, oh man, it needs to be running well. I am Iron's Cat. When will JR return? I don't know. I don't know. Dark Side, make a Mindshock Discord. If anybody in here wants to kind of run a Mindshock Discord, we can figure that out. All right, Flat Bob, thanks for dropping in. See you next time. Dark Side, I shall explain someday. That kind of sounds like someone who doesn't have definitive evidence of any kind, because, I mean, there's this mountain of evidence proving the corruption and that nothing went down the way that Manitowoc alleged it did, all wrapped up in conflicts of interest with the same corrupt officers involved in his original frame-up. I mean, you know. I mean, Darkseid, do you have at least one piece of I mean, anything? Do you have any evidence Hallback's even dead? Nothing? Nothing? I wasn't into Discord either, but it's way better than arguing on Twitter, no character limit, and you can hop on voice chat anytime to better articulate communicate. So, how does that work with how many people are talking at the same time? Oh, I am Scott. You're good in relation to the delay. Everything sounds smooth. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, between me reading the comment, like, what you're hearing now is probably 10 seconds after I said it. Truth Seeker, I may be up for a chat sometime down the road. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I need to start scheduling more guests. I've had like a long list of people that have wanted to be on the podcast. In relation to certain true crime cases, I want to keep it as objective as possible. But after literally all the info is laid out, I still haven't quite laid out all the info in the Mortimer case, believe it or not, the longest running case on Mindshock. Couple more episodes left, and then after, at that point, I guess it would be okay. Like, you know, the goal obviously is to keep awareness up in cases so they could actually get solved. So at a certain point, I think maybe having guests on will be appropriate. I am Scott. Michael Sartain said he was going to Flattoberfest in Vegas, but he didn't show up. What a shocker. Is anybody shocked that an ostentatious goof like Sartain, suffering from one of the worst cases of narcissism in the history of mankind, didn't honor his word? Is anybody actually shocked? I don't know the ins and outs of Discord, but I will definitely join. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely look into that. I will check to see who, if somebody wants to run that, we can figure that out. Darkseid can only explain Stephen Avery's guilt on a Discord. You join a voice and have up to 30 people just chatting, sharing links, videos. Wait, so there's a 30 people max limit? I am Iron's Cat. An actual 10-second delay, unlike the call to the moon. Oh, that's a good one. I have so many more episodes coming in the moon landing. I was so shocked at Matt Walsh. I'm still working on that video. I should not have picked that one to do the system test run with. I mean, maybe I'll do another one. If that takes too long, I'll do another one, because I don't want to I don't want to keep everybody waiting for so long. If I can't get it ironed out really quick. Your volume is 3x5 here, not sure about others. What about now? Is the volume better now? What does everybody want to talk about? Sun UV Liberty wants to do a single long. Oh. On here or on the on Discord? Oh, Justin Johnson. Oh, you guys want it louder? What about now? Is that loud enough for you guys? Are we turned up? I am IonsCat. Can't wait for more Mindshock moon landing hoax videos. They will be great. Sun UV blue from the space station. Space station. I mean, isn't it bonkers? So I actually, I don't know if I kind of want to save this for the episode, but I actually compiled the list of how many times they said they were going back to the moon and they never did. I mean, all the way, I believe, was it the late 80s, early 90s when they announced it again? And then it just never, they put in tons of money. It never happened. Then they canceled the program in 93 or 97, whatever it was. And then they immediately started a new one for a return by 2008 or whatever. And then they changed it to 2011. And then they changed it to 2015. And then they changed it to 2020. And now they got the new one that was supposed to be like 2021. And then it was supposed to be 2024. Now they just pushed it to 2025. Which is interesting because they only pushed it a year. So, I mean, I guess AI is that good now that it doesn't, they can make some crazy AI footage. Maybe even live AI because they probably can do that now. Truth Seeker is on the space station now. Interesting. Justin Johnson. India's got this though. Shifty Eye Shady. You are in a pool in Houston. I don't know if they. I would think they would have them. Would Houston be where it would be though? I mean, because Devon Island's actually pretty decent for all their Mars footage. Because it's so out of the way, you're not going to have random people or tons of tourists or people. Like, I mean, if it's a secure facility in Houston. But I don't know. I don't know if they would do it in Houston. I mean, is that where the official one is? Like the official training? Yes, Truth Seeker. Alright, so we got about 30 people in here. Anybody got some out there questions? Normal questions? What does everybody want to discuss? Now, Truth Seeker, you just reminded me of the Mandela effect. Houston, we have a problem, or Houston, we've had a problem. Actually, do you guys want to... Man, do you guys want to know why it's taken me so long to get the Mandela podcast series out? I am states. Besides common courtesy, the mods do a good job in the EA Discord. If it gets out of hand, they'll mute person A, let person B make a statement, then let A respond, and vice versa. Alright, Dave and I am Ion's cat. They want to know why it's taken so long. Okay, so the Mandela effect really bothered me. I mean, this conspiracy theory, like Flat Earth didn't, I wouldn't say it bothered me, but yes, Christopher Allen. So specifically with the Houston We've Had a Problem clip, I was watching it on YouTube. I think it was the Movie Clips channel or some big channel with millions and millions of subs, some kind of official channel. It changed while I was watching it, and then it changed back again. And at that point, I was just out. I'm like, they're really screwing around with this on purpose. It's like they're changing it back and forth on purpose. So, one of the theories, of course, is that it's some kind of mass psychological experiment. But I didn't hallucinate that as far as I know, because that's never happened with anything ever. Like, none of the other Mandelas, no other video I've ever watched. I've never had something go back and forth, not just back, but not just change, but then change back again. I should have been live streaming on that because that was wild. It went back and forth on me within probably 30, 40 seconds. Because when it changed, I kind of was like, this is so weird. I just listened to it a second ago, and then it changed. And I'm like, this is really, really weird. Somebody must have, like, maybe it's on some kind of timer where it changes. But then when it changed back, that was just weird. Then it was the original. Houston, we have a problem. So it was, and the text changed too. It wasn't just the audio. Sun UV Liberty. Houston has had, is having, and will have problems. Yeah. See the rat utopia experiment. Justin, does gaseous atmosphere violate the second law of thermodynamics, being adjacent to the vacuum of space without containment? So that's a tricky statement too, because do we even really know what space is? Number one. Number two, how do we know there is no barrier? Maybe there's a dome. Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. I know the globe, I know what the heliocentric globe claims are. They're very problematic, but that doesn't necessarily mean there are violations. Yeah, Dave, the Mandela's pretty out there for me too. It's so weird, but I've actually compiled. I've been working on this for years. This is going to be one of the most in-depth series. There's so much evidence, and there's so much residue, and there's a couple theories that seem to really account for all of it, and I'll be getting into all of that, of course. I am Iron's Cat. They are changing it back and forth. Jim Stone freelance caught the AI changing things and forced it to stop. He caught C3PO being changed to silver, then just one leg to silver. Wait, what do you mean what do you mean caught the AI? Was he live streaming while this was happening? And what do you mean forced it to stop? Shifty Eyes Shady, did Tom Hanks shapeshift into a reptilian? We need to do a reptilian podcast, that's for sure. Pinto Sack, can you please settle a bet for me? How many holes does a straw have? My friend says two, but I argue one. Ask your friend how many holes does, let's say, a donut have? Or a washer. And then ask him, if you change the length of the donut or the washer, will that add a hole? I am Iron Scan. I believe that you did catch it in real time. As Dutchsons says, you always need to be running a screen cap so they can catch things live. Yeah, you know what's really wild? If they had this AI tech for so long, they could have been doing this even with TV broadcasts decades and decades ago. Lord Zed, welcome, Lord Zed. I was a fan back in the day of you on Power Rangers. What have you been up to, Lord Zed? I had a silver C3PO toy 30 years ago. I thought it was weird he's got gold in the movie because I had the toy before I saw it. Yeah, there's countless stories of that. Sun UV Libert says, no, Tom Hanks shapeshifted into a human. Ali P. the Goddess, have you gone into Isaac Cappy's and Maya Alicia Naylor's in quotations, suicides. They have a ton of weird connections, a lot of psyop LARPs that were performed with both. Just touched upon it briefly years ago. That's probably not a YouTube topic. I don't know. That seems like a Rumble topic. I am. Bro, please do a review of the Principle 2014 documentary. It outlines the heliocentrism versus geocentrism debate, starting from Ptolemy, has a lot of mainstream physicists, purely geo versus helium, not shape. I actually went over that many times. I mean, not an in-depth review, but I brought that documentary up a lot of times. If you haven't checked out my video on my own history with geocentrism, check it out. Because I was on forums in around 2000. I don't remember the exact year. There were about 200 physics professors that were geocentrists. So I was into the whole geocentrism thing way before the Principle. So when the Principle came out, I actually wasn't surprised by those concepts. They were discussed. I mean, the flat earth thing's kind of weird because that did seem to just go crazy mainstream in 2015 or whatever when it just got big on YouTube. Geocentrism never really went away though. People were discussing geo versus helio globe for decades and decades and decades. Lord Zed, Bruce, do you believe it is a coincidence Damien Eccles wrote a book called Ritual? I don't know, because that could be because he was involved in an occult ritual, or from the West Memphis Three, for those who don't know where Damien Eccles is from or in relation to, or because it was some kind of, he wasn't responsible personally, but there was some kind of occult ritual involved. Hello, Miranda. That's a great name. There's not a lot of Mirandas anymore. Shifty Eyes, Shady Isaac Cappy is a strange case, especially the Tom Hanks Route 66 connect. Oh man, Route 66. That is wild. There are so many insane stories that are still coming out on it. Are there people like live streaming their Route 66 trips? Because I've seen a lot of stories, even just a few years ago, where there's weird stuff going on. I was wondering if anybody was streaming full time or if there's webcams set up along Route 66. Pinto Sack asked, did you ever have a GeoCities website back in the day? Honestly, I don't remember. Did I actually have one myself? I may have made one just to have links to stuff, but I mean, I don't think it was a real website. Maybe, I don't know. I might have had one where I just used it for bookmarks, so that way I could access it from other computers, because before smartphones. I am Ion's Cat. The NSA has had AI since at least 2008. I will post next too long for one comment. Probably a lot longer than 2008. Justin, how about the inverse square law of light with the alleged distances the luminaries are? We wouldn't see them objectively. See, okay, well, that depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on if there's ether in space, what are the properties of ether? Because, again, a lot of this is subject to so many unknown variables. But yes, on the surface, from the claim 93 million miles, I mean, that's a wild claim. You better have something concrete to back that up. Yeah, I don't know about those numbers, but in general, without knowing the exact properties of the medium, like for example, in water, the way that light travels in water is different than through air, and even, different chambers with different with different percentages of chemicals that make up the air, light would behave differently. So we wouldn't really know. I don't know. Miranda says, "Thank you. I don't think there's ever been many Mirandas." No, but there would be the odd Miranda, I would say. 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There was the odd Miranda. Whereas now, I actually can't even remember the last time I ran into where Miranda was even mentioned. Probably at least 5, 10 years for me. Other than you. I've seen you comment here and there. Truth Seeker, have you looked into a connection between Mortimer and Molly Bish? No. I did the Molly Bish podcast here on Mindshock. A lot of major questions in that case. Major questions, overlaps to CIs, and weird police activity. Do you think there's a solid connection? I caught it once on Fukushima night. The hot Australian CNN reporter froze in the middle of a live report and said they had to be really still while censored scanned them. Who's censored? Sun UV Liberty, some of the statements made by those kids, West Memphis 3, really bother me. I don't want to believe they did it, but I think they did. There's a lot of unanswered questions in the West Memphis 3 case. If for any listeners who haven't checked it out yet, check out the Mindshock series on that. It's weird. It's almost like they might have encountered the kids, but there was something else going on with other individuals. So, because nothing really adds up. If they are guilty, I don't know if I could say there were not other individuals involved in some capacity, even if they are guilty. But Miss Kelly, I mean, this guy, I mean, his confessions are worth absolutely nothing based on the way they filmed a very small percentage of it. Who knows what happened off camera? I mean, they were clearly berating and coercing the confession out of him, whether he's guilty or not. That's a huge problem. And then, of course, he recanted it, and it couldn't even be used in court. So, I am Iron's Cat. I was at the end of the TiVo buffer. Wow, TiVo. You guys remember TiVo? That's awesome. So I couldn't record it, and it was gone on the re-show later that night. Wait, what do you mean, though? Fukushima night, the reporter froze in the middle of a live report? What does that mean? Like, what was being done? I am Iron's Cat. Sorry, it was live, real-time censoring. Censoring of what? Oh, was... Yeah, of what? Lord Zed, could monkeys have evolved from humans? Could humans have been here first, and really hairy dumb ones were casted off into the jungle? Who knows? Yeah, I'm gonna do a podcast on evolution. Living things coming from rocks magically spawning in space from gases. That's a big ask, man. The scientism cult that's a huge ask. Kill the bank. It's about the sheer number of people it took to make us in just 30 generations. Mind-shocking number. Yeah, I saw your comment about the population numbers. Definitely gonna have to do a podcast on that. Can you reason through this question logically? Is water wet? Well, based on the empirical definitions of water and wet, I mean, you're asking if something that has the properties of something has the properties of that? Why couldn't humans evolve into monkeys? Well, I mean, that's a begging the question fallacy, because if no species can turn into another species, then no species can evolve into everything. The biggest issue with the evolution arguments is that a lot of people making these arguments, including all these PhDs, they're not looking at the actual definitions, because adaptation is not evolution. Developing traits, or the same species evolving traits for adapting and surviving, is not the evolution of one species into a completely different species. And I don't really hear a lot of debates where people actually discuss that. I've looked at a couple of evolution debates. If they're missing those basics, I mean, what are you even talking about? Sun UV Liberty. I knew a Miranda in Pensacola, Florida. She wasn't that odd. Most of the Mirandas I knew were actually from the UK. I guess it's a more popular name over there, or it used to be. Truth Seeker, I do believe there is a good chance that there is a connection between the two cases. It involves law enforcement. Wow. Well, that sounds like a podcast episode right there. Was there a reason that Bish would have been targeted by law enforcement, though? Or do you think some other criminal took her and then law enforcement became involved for the cover up after that? That actually could make sense based on all the known variables, because obviously there are many unknown variables. Oh, I see. I am Ion's cat. They censored the name of whatever was flying over them at the time. Back then, I thought it was a UFO, but now I think it was a drone. Shifty Eyes. Shady, I don't believe we came from fish, frog, monkey. Well, don't forget the lineage. It's there was nothing. Then magically, somehow, energy caused rocks to grow into planets, and then water magically manifested on them, and then fish, and then all that. So basically, just to sum it up, there was nothing, then there was magically rocks that were planets. So basically, living things came from inanimate objects like rocks. And then they just add in the magically, well, it took billions of years. I mean, sitting there looking at a rock for billions of years, I mean, it's not going to turn into a human or a fish or a dog in hundreds of years. But what would make the billions of years cause it to cause a rock to turn into living things? I don't know. It's weird. I never, I don't know. It's all pretty weird. The chat just jumped around on me here, so let's make sure I have this in order. Shifty Eyes, maybe they came across the cops doing something shady. Are you referencing the Molly Bishmore murder cases? Lord Zed, Shady Damien is guilty. He wrote a book called Ritual. His behavior after the murder is what gives it away to me. Yeah, but guilty doesn't mean he acted alone or with only two younger buddies. There's a lot of evidence for adults being involved in some kind of occult rituals in those woods, and there could have been connections to Damien. And the other kids might have just been hanging out with Damien to some extent. And maybe they were even forced to participate against their will. Who knows? Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. I did not read that book. I am another super chat. Thanks. Have you looked into the death of David Crowley, creator of the Gray State doc, found dead in his home with wife and daughter, ruled murder suicide? Briefly, yes. Very, very disturbing. The timeline's disturbing. There were one or two other high-profile deaths of people looking into human trafficking as well around that time, which made it even stranger because there was a string of these supposed suicides. It was, yeah, that's really sketchy. Don't look at the European census data from the 1930s. Yeah, why don't we look at the census data from every year? Riz, my issue with Evo is where does the new species get the information? That's a good question. Well, where did the new information come from the rock that turned into water and a fish? I mean, where did that happen? I mean, jumping from, once there's already species, jumping from species to species, yes, your question is still good. But how did it ever get there in the first place? Because if rocks are just manifesting in the middle of space, how could a rock turn into a fish? A rock, you sprinkle some water, it turns into a fish? Like, how does that make sense? Again, I apologize for the lag on this stream. By the time I see the comment, respond to it, there's already more comments, and then there's another 10-second delay, but I'll do my best here. Shifty Eyes, Shady, I don't believe we came fish, frog, monkeys. If you take a step back, like, how silly does that even sound? Like, making that argument with a straight face. Not that I know that happened, what did happen. I mean, I'm not claiming anything's true or untrue, but it's just, that's a big ask. I mean, to just get people to believe that. Lord Zed, I believe you're referencing Damien Eccles' book, How Magic and Rituals Helped Him, etc. Riz, I mean, you can make an argument that a monkey now identifies as a human problem solved. I forgot which podcast I mentioned this in. Why not cross-species sports? Because, you know, what's to stop people? I mean, I think wasn't there that one kid that identified as a cat, so they even had a litter box, and she had like her corner in the classroom, and she identified as a cat, and everybody had to make all these concessions for the cat. It's really weird. I mean, this is what public school has devolved to. Shifty Eyes, more Super Bowl halftime show, satanic rituals. Who could have predicted this shocking turn of events? They seem to really like the Super Bowl halftime show and the Olympic ceremonies. They really seem to roll out a lot for those. Truth Seeker, I am willing to discuss that. Yeah, that's definitely going to need to be a podcast. The Bish Murray connection. A lot of weird stuff going on in both those cases, that's for sure. Sun UV Liberty, that was a crazy, definitely not an assassination. Truth Seeker, law involvement at first, right off the bat in the Bish case? Yeah, I have not heard that. Is that with or without connections to the family or family knowledge? Is that what caused some of the problems right off the bat with the investigation? I am Lions Cat. The reporter was interviewing some people about the tidal wave, and when she said freeze, they all stood really still. They scrambled the word she called whatever was flying over their heads. Oh, wow, okay. Justin, they changed the definition like a Texas sharpshooter fallacy to fit their narrative, in my opinion. Are you talking about evolution? Is that in reference to evolution? Yeah, I believe there's 8 different definitions for evolution, which is, I mean, yeah. Run Boston Bear. I know y'all passed the Discord convo, but I've just started clipping Witsit from Rumble where they stream 24/7. The vids are on my channel, Run Boston Bear. Run Boston Bears channel. Okay. You don't have that many vids on your channel, so you just posted one an hour ago? Earth Awakenings, Witsit, and Jesse, and then Omnivore Chat. I'll check that out later. Lord Zed, if the body is 75% water and the earth is 75% water, would it be logical to think the universe could be 75% water? Not necessarily. I mean, there's so many variables there. It depends. I mean, it's not something you would rule out. Riz, a rock into man. Yeah, that's real. Dave Scott. Bruce, rocks can evolve. Remember, over time, things happen. The mighty Craig, with his incredibly astute observations about the universe. I mean, this kind of intellectual powerhouse, I mean, wow, this is a privilege just to be contemporaries of just a mind the level of Craig's. Over time, things happen. Super Zinger. Yes, Johnny Sizzle Chest. I am doing the logical analysis of Matt Walsh on the moon landing, but I didn't know he'd be streaming that many fallacy combos. It's tough tweaking the new system. I really didn't think he'd be that insane with the combos. I mean, his combos are crazy on that video. Shifty Eyes, that's like Webb. He broke the story of the CIA selling crack in the California ghettos of Oakland and LA. Later, he committed suicide by shooting himself twice in the head. Is that some kind of tell? Like, whenever people are assassinated, they're open about it. So that's why they do the 2 shots to the head and say it's suicide. It's kind of like a wink wink. Because that happens so often. Kill the bank. Inanimate materials can't turn into something living, no matter how long, my opinion. Maybe the info is that in the 95% junk DNA we're told to have. Yeah, I don't know. If we go to the video game example, like in a video game, there's a creator of a video game, the intelligent designer of a video game. He kind of just designed everything. The designer just designed everything. The land, like the level. Level? Wow, that's kind of funny. Like there's different levels in a video game. Is the world also level of the levels in a video game? And all the characters and all the different creatures, they were all kind of designed in concept and then executed. They're not evolving or any. I mean, adapting, yes. Like you can get experience points in the video game, you can learn new abilities, but in general, all of the characters and creatures and levels, everything is designed before the fact. Justin, Amoeba and Pond Scum, Dust and Gases, cool story. Shifty Eyes, the Human Bear Wrestling League, that'd be interesting. Truth Seeker, I believe the cat girl was from Whitefield, New Hampshire. Interesting, New Hampshire connection. Kill the bank. Even if the first cell formed, wouldn't it instantly die? I mean, I have no idea. Like, formed how? How would the first cell even be formed? Truth Seeker, I think the white car and man's descriptions has clouded the Molly case for years. Well, I think the issue is because supposedly that wasn't the only time he was spotted, which is why they think there's a connection, as if somebody was watching her for at least a few days. Kill the Bank. Anyone enjoy the channel Mind Unveiled? It's got some pretty good stuff. Yeah, that's a cool channel. Check that channel out a couple times. I am Iron Scat. One of my favorite Mindshock episodes was when JR pointed out how dangerous pregnant ladies are because a pregnant woman casually disclosed that she snapped the neck of an alien who visited her. I mean, maybe she's a Seagal fan. I mean, if she watches a lot of Seagal movies, I mean, is Steven Seagal really the savior we need in case of any kind of alien invasion? Truth seeker Cecil Smith used two guns to commit suicide. Suicide in quotations, I guess. Kill the bank. I haven't heard the Matt Walsh moon landing thing. Wow, that many combos. Yeah, I mean he was breaking the combo count. I mean it's tough, man. It's tough. I really want the new system to be ironed out so that way it could be used for anything. So I'm definitely doing the Matt Walsh one. If it's too problematic, I'll do another one first and then I'll do the Matt Walsh one. Sun UV Liberty, the first cell formed out of what though? That would require the simultaneous development of all the necessary components, ribosomes, mitochondria, cilia, etc. I mean, I guess there'd have to be some kind of cause to it, right? So, I don't know. Aliens, interdimensional shadow people, kind of using some kind of advanced tech to sprout these cells? If they're interdimensional shadow peoples of non-physical properties that can somehow manipulate physical properties without being physical properties themselves, would that be enough to create cells? Maybe, again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. Run Boston Bear. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe we could do a stream on that. Dave, you don't mess with pregnant ladies. Yeah, JR is very adamant about that. I mean, that's a non negotiable. You can't argue messing with pregnant women with JR. Woman plus fetus equals Chuck Norris. Seagal is a sissy. How dare you, Sun UV Liberty? The blasphemy. How dare you besmirch the good name of Steven Seagal, the man, the myth, the legend? Who here thinks Chuck Norris could actually beat Seagal? We have to set up a poll here. I mean, this is getting serious. This is getting serious. Alright, the poll's up. Can Seagal beat Chuck Norris? Besmirching Seagal. How dare you? How dare you? Truth Seeker said the same cop that worked in Warren, Massachusetts when Molly Bish disappeared and was found left law enforcement down there, lived 2 miles from where Mortimer disappeared from 2004. Wow. Wow. The Maura Murray case doesn't really make any sense though, because how could the overlaps at UMass, multiple agencies? I mean, it's just such an insane case. I am Iron Scat. Could you please tell us about the new system, or do you have a show which describes it? I think you said that Matt Walsh was supposed to be the first. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Refining the New System, I mean, that's probably close to 12 hours of us working on the system in the chat and everything. And then you can also check out the community posts. I kind of went through all the breakdowns. Real offended. Not if Seagal has the police force and the army tank with him. Come on. If Steven Seagal is willing to run a tank through Jesus's house and kill Jesus's animals and his puppy, I mean, Seagal's just built different. I mean, he's willing to do that. I don't think Chuck has the fortitude to do that. Do you really think Chuck would run a tank through Jesus's house, killing his birds and his puppy? I don't know if Chuck could do that. I mean, Steven Seagal is stone cold. I mean, this guy is cold to be able to do that. Not just to anybody, but to a guy named Jesus. Riz stated, my training coach back in the day was Dana Goodson, beat Chuck twice, both in the second round. No way. Are you joking, Riz? I mean, that might be the most mind-shocking thing I've heard in the history of the Mindshock podcast. Did they have wins against each other? I think they did. Dana fought Benny Urquidez. I actually don't know if Chuck ever fought Urquidez. The poll so far, most people think Seagal cannot beat Chuck Norris, or we're simply too triggered to answer. Really, Seagal's getting no credit. I think Seagal would wreck Chuck Norris. Any weight class. I mean, Seagal used to be real thin back in the 80s. Shifty, they pointed out there's a lot of alien commercials during Super Bowl on Twitter. Sun UV Liberty, Chuck Norris's pants could beat up Steven Seagal. I don't think so. Did Chuck ever fight 10 guys at the same time? Because you can actually find videos of Steven Seagal going full contact. I mean, they're in the Aikido studio, so it's not like the guys were really trying to kill Seagal, but they were going full contact. I think it actually was a 10-on-1, and he was doing 5-on-1s while sitting down. Sun UV Liberty. Wait, is it Super Bowl Sunday? Truth Seeker, let's chat in about a month or so about the Murray case and connections. Sounds good. Rune. Oh, I didn't think this would turn into a Seagal versus Norris podcast, but this is Mindshock, so, you know. Dave's got karate plus beard versus ponytail plus Aikido, no contest, Chuck all day. I don't know, Dave. I don't know. I'm going with Seagal. I mean, Seagal is so deceptively fast. Have you seen even the recent videos from the past couple of years of him just schooling these MMA fighters? Because it's not just timing. It's not just speed. It's the timing. I don't think even Prime versus Prime. I'm going with Seagal against Chuck. All joking aside. Justin, they are both old and weak. Oh man, that's cold. I don't know. I still think Seagal could wreck the average gangbanger on the street. I don't know about Chuck Norris though. He's getting up there in age. Seagal, I don't think Seagal's even that old. How old is Seagal? Oh, wow. He's 71. Chuck Norris is 83. Wow. I didn't even think he was 80. I thought he was like 78, 79. So, yeah, I mean, Seagal's definitely got the youth advantage. Lord Zed, a Vietnam vet, was a security guard at Columbine. He said he shot at a shooter on the roof. I don't know who you're referring to. Was that in the 11K or no? Kill the Bank. I mean, Seagal hardly got hit in any of his movies. For crying out loud, he got shot twice with a shotgun and still beat the bad guys in Hard to Kill. Yeah, I mean, those are just autobiographical titles. Seagal's early movies: Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice. Marked for Death was pretty good too. That's pretty underrated, especially the soundtrack. Justin, Bruce Lee would take them both. Justin, are you aware that supposedly Bruce Lee and Steven Seagal actually did fight? I'll be going over that on the Seagal podcast. Real offended. I meant to ask last time, is there any real evidence that nuclear bombs are real? They allegedly dropped a few and I've yet to hear of a nuclear winter in Japan. Yeah, it's a highly suspect claim. I mean, that's an extraordinary claim. You better be providing extraordinary evidence if you want to make that claim. I mean, they're really big bombs. There's bombs that do a lot of damage. As far as any kind of splitting of the atom, I don't know if that's ever actually been demonstrated. Rune said, when Google first came out, you could click I feel lucky to get a single result. If you searched for find Chuck Norris, you'd get an official message. Sun UV Liberty, Chuck is so fast he could run around the world, sneak up behind himself, and kick his own ass, and that's the only way his tushy would ever know the touch of a boot. Rune, you can't find Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris finds you. Libby asked, what's the most shocking case you have researched and why? Oh, that is tough. Now, what do you mean by shocking? Like, one of the most strangest is, of course, the Mortimer case, because there's so much multi-agency overlap. I mean, in what other missing persons case is the small hamlet in the middle of nowhere where a missing person ends up, or their vehicle ends up where they allegedly were driving their vehicle, also happens to have DEA and U.S. Marshal activity? I mean, that's just weird. And their university that they came from not releasing any CCTV. I mean, literally media silence for decades. I mean, it's just a weird case. I mean, it is pretty shocking. I mean, it's pretty shocking. Lord Zed said Van Damme would tune up both Seagal and Norris on the same night, but all three rule. Okay, Lord Zed, you are opening up cans of worms here. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the man, the myth, the legend, of course. That is tough. That is really tough. Are you aware that Van Damme and Chuck Norris actually trained together and there is sparring footage of them? It looks like Van Damme is way faster, but Chuck Norris is more powerful. Now, how that translates, I mean, Van Damme's obviously more flexible, no question. Like, his combination kicks, I mean, Chuck Norris couldn't really block him too good. And of course, Chuck Norris has more full contact experience than Van Damme. Now, Van Damme versus Seagal, man, that is tough. I actually lean Van Damme when they were younger, but the Aikido is very useful for redirecting opponents, snapping wrists and necks like nobody's business. The older they get, the more I lean Seagal. Prime versus Prime, I mean, Van Damme was pretty damn fast. Yeah, I don't know. That's so tough. That's actually really tough. Should we close the poll? It's kind of so 17% said that Seagal would beat Norris. 57% no. 26% were too triggered to answer. Blasphemy. Blasphemy. I don't know. That is a good question in Prime versus Prime versus Prime. What if they did a three-way match where it was Van Damme versus Norris versus Seagal at the same time? I might have to lean Seagal because he's got the most experience of training against multiple opponents full contact. Chuck and Van Damme mostly trained one-on-one to fight one opponent. Seagal specifically trained to fight multiple opponents. That's the other. I mean, a lot of people sleep on Aikido, but Aikido's pretty legit. I mean, there's different types of Aikido, obviously, but the full contact Aikido that Seagal did is not. I forgot the name of it. I am not an Aikido master, by the way. But there's a specific style of Aikido that Seagal did that was full contact style, as opposed to other Aikido, which was softer, a lot less broken wrists. Run Boston Bear, your keyboard sounds unique. Is it regular split or something else? No, it's just a regular old keyboard, but it has, I believe it's a black switch keyboard. So you have to press a little. I like the feeling of it because you have to press a little harder, so you make less spelling errors. You got to be more, also a better workout for your fingers. So you can get a little bit. Your eye pokes will be more powerful if you train with black switch keyboard. Pete Sampson, what do you think of the guy that shot John Lennon and just sat there reading Catcher in the Rye waiting for police? I will be doing a Lennon podcast. It hasn't been one of my most researched cases, but it's been one of the most requested. Yannick said Chuck Norris can violate the second law of thermodynamics. Very possible. Very possible. Real offended. Yes, Steve is an excellent actor. He really is. I mean, he's a fantastic musician as well. If anybody here hasn't checked out Seagal's music, you know what? Should I put on... Okay, I don't think I can put on the song for the copyright, but I do want to read some lyrics. Okay, who's ready for this? So Steven Seagal has a song called Strut from his album Songs from the Crystal Cave. Girl, what you really want all night? Me want the buddy, make me feel nice. Boy, tell me what you really want all night. Me want the punani, C4 make me nice. Me want the buddy, him want the punani, and me know it nice. Saw. When the girls start to strut, you could look at their butt, but shouldn't do that. The gal dress is just pretty, not just there to cover her kitty. When me I fling it up, you better know feedback it up. When me I dash it up, make sure you block it up. If you wave, I flap it up. Then me I go lock it up. Park it up like Benji. Saw. Me love the way you walk sometimes. The way you talk is so hot. Now you know, let's have a shot of rum. Then me can make you come. With me to the ocean, that would be fat. P-H-A-T, for those that don't know. You can be my bowcat. Nice Ital breeze, bring you to your knees, we're jammin'. Yo, this is a gal I not blow when the wino saw. When me turn it around, we can fee come to my room. Here's to never. Me start me tell you from start. Me go wow down low, let's do it all night from the left to the right. Say my name, Steve, and tell me how it nice. It's quite all right. Water run from the pipe. I love it like that, but I won't bite. Saw, why no saw? When me turn it around, we can fee come to my room. Here's to never. Me start me tell you from start. Me go wow down low. Let's do it all night from the left to the right. Say my name, Steve, and tell me how it nice. It's quite all right. Water run from the pipe. I love it like that, but I won't bite. Girl, what you really want all night? Me want the buddy fee, make me feel nice. Boy, tell me what you really want all night. Me want the punani, see me for make me nice. Me want the buddy, him want the punani, and me know it nice saw. And then they just go over this chorus again, and me know it nice. Now, this kind of sheer brilliance that is Seagal's music career, I mean, can anybody compete with this, with these kind of lyrics? I mean, the lyricism of Steven Seagal, the lyrical genius that is Seagal, can anybody compete? Is there even a close second? By the way, he actually is a great guitar player as well. Wow, I just missed a lot of comments while I was reading those brilliant lyrics. I mean, I don't know how he didn't win multiple Grammys for that one. I mean, I just don't know. It's mind shocking. I mean, how does he not have more Grammys than anybody else? I mean, it's really mind boggling, mind shocking. I mean, I don't know. Libby said, also growing up, Chuck Norris was the elite guy to throw at anyone to beat whoever was the opponent. Truth Seeker says, I have to go with Norris the redhead. Kill the Bank says, I think any top 10 light heavyweight in the UFC would whoop either one of them. Have you seen the video where Seagal just manhandles Anderson Silva like a small child? And then he also does that to some light heavyweights as well. Sun UV Liberty, Bruce Lee was built different. That is a fact. What? Justin said Joe Biden will take you behind the bleachers. Truth Seeker says nunchucks are not allowed, but canes and wheelchairs are acceptable. What about a wheelchair nunchuck fight? Are wheelchair nunchuck championships overdue? I mean, that has pay-per-view written all over it. Shifty Eye says, but Seagal isn't Walker Texas Ranger. No, he's not, but he's Lawman. Lord Zed, I don't know if I could read your comment on YouTube. Do you think the experimental medical treatment could be a time-release hallucinogenic that kicks in at a certain time, and only those that don't have the experimental medical treatment won't see the fake aliens because we aren't hallucinating? I'm not sure. Because if it's some kind of Project Bluebeam, I mean, if it's holographic projections, everybody would see them. I am Iron's Cat. What's on the list of shows coming up in the next month? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I don't like to release them if they're not really, if they're not completely exhaustive and definitive. Like Chris Kremers and Lizanne Froon, the Panama hikers case. I have that coming up. I should be able to get that done this month. The Steven Seagal one, of course. And then quite a few logical analysis. The new system is just taking a little longer than I thought to iron out because there's so much to it. There were just too many, like Dave Scott in here and some of these other Mindshock listeners, they came up with too many good ideas, so I have to implement them. I mean, there's even fallacy per minute counter, like the FPM rate is going to be integrated. I mean, there's a lot. Kill the Bank. I was a huge fan of Van Damme and Seagal back in the day, as you should be, sir. As you should be. I mean, how could anybody not be a fan is the better question. I mean, is it possible not to be a fan of Steven Seagal or Van Damme or Chuck Norris? Dave Scott said Jean-Claude Van Damme invented skinny jeans. I am Iron's Cat. Has anyone seen the Van Damme movie called Cyborg? I liked it, but it's really a bad movie. How dare you, I am Iron's Cat? And you're committing blasphemy up in here. Not only have I seen Cyborg, I've probably seen it at least 50 times because it's one of the greatest post-apocalyptic movies ever made in the history of human existence. That movie's phenomenal. I think I might have to confess, I don't think I've seen the director's cut that recently came out, though. Riz, what is this podcast? You know damn well what this is. This is Mindshock. Yannick said the movie with Van Damme where he plays allegedly Frank Dukes was a good movie. Bloodsport. I mean, not only a good movie, some people rank that as the greatest film in the history of humanity, and it's hard to argue with them. I don't know how that didn't sweep the Oscars. I mean, that's truly a head scratcher if there ever was one. Oh, that's cold, Sun UV Liberty. At least we know we can rule out ATF involvement due to the lack of dead dogs on the scene. Lord Zed, I planned the other night to watch Cyborg soon. I need to watch the director's cut. I think that came out like past year or two. Kill the Bank. I've watched all his movies, even the ones before he was famous. What was it? Black Eagle? Not sure. Yes, Black Eagle. Van Damme actually played the bad guy, also starring Sho Kasugi, the ninja himself. You know, it's crazy. If you guys haven't checked out the greatest movie trailer of all time podcast, that one's pretty wild. And I do mention Sho Kasugi in that one as well. Van Damme was also in that breakdancing movie Breakin'. It was a pretty famous meme. He's like dancing in the background, very fruity like. Justin Johnson says David Hasselhoff would mop Chuck up in real life. See, that's the fight that needs to happen. I am Iron's Cat. Would you do a show on the fake nuke bomb films that used miniatures? It wouldn't disprove or disprove nukes, only that the footage was fake. Yeah, that footage is very sketchy. Sun UV Liberty Seagal runs like a girl. I think Seagal and Tom Cruise need to have a sprinting contest. I mean, that's long overdue. I mean, I don't even know how they haven't done movies together. I mean, that's another head scratcher. Kill the Bank. Don't forget about Swayze. Roadhouse was killer back in the day. Roadhouse. Anybody planning on watching the new one with Conor McGregor? It looks kind of weird. Ginger Norris would snatch a soul because he needs one. Kill the Bank. I have to watch the Anderson Silva vid. That one is tough to. Oh, he was smacking Anderson around like a redheaded stepchild. Now that we're talking about gingers, let's use that saying properly. He was smacking around everybody. I mean, and he wasn't even trying. That's what makes it kind of crazy. He was not trying. Actually, you know what? Let's go through the Anderson versus Seagal video. It's pretty funny. I was never an Anderson Silva fan, for the record. I mean, he was getting tuned up by journeyman fighters in Pride Fighting Championships in Japan before he came to the UFC. I'll put up the Anderson video in a second. I think it's low quality, and I don't think it's officially UFC footage, so we should be able to watch it. Dave Scott, thanks for the $20 super chat. T-shirt, coffee mug, and bumper stickers. Wow. I've been sleeping on bumper sticker. Ideas. Over time, things happen. The Batman Bigfoot mailbox fallacy. Me want the punani. Hashtag Max Alarm. We need to have Steven Seagal on this podcast. I mean, this is what really needs to happen. I mean, we got to start funding to get Seagal on this. I mean, he might even leak some info on what's going on with Putin in the war, because, I mean, he's best buddies with Putin. Do people not know that, by the way? I think Putin gave him some kind of medal or award. If you guys have not been up to date on the latest, I mean, I don't know how anybody wouldn't be. I mean, who's not up to date on Steven Seagal news? But, yeah, he got some kind of awards from Putin. He's buddy-buddy with Putin himself. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Steven Seagal's best friend? But I'm going to put the Seagal footage on the screen right now in a second. I just want to catch up with the rest of the comments. Can you guys stop commenting for just a second so I can catch up? I am Iron's Cat asked again, do you have a show which describes the new system, the logical analysis system? Yes, if you go into the live stream, go to youtube.com/Mindshock, go to the live streams and refining the system. There's 4 parts. And then there's also, or you could just go into regular videos, and then I have the new system under a single video. It's like over 11 hours long. Brenda versus Craig and Sartain. What are your thoughts on the afterlife? Lord Zed, if you want to check out the podcast episode, What Happens When You Die, I went over that to some extent. Okay, so let's put up the Seagal footage now. I mean, this is probably what you guys all turned in for, right? We got to talk Seagal. I mean, he moves so fast. Fat or not fat. I mean, the speed is just, it's very impressive.
In my opinion, one of the greatest living fighters in this domain.
Lord Zed asked, if we do our best to mentally prepare ahead of time somehow, could my friend and I each have the same lucid dream and meet each other in it? I've actually never even heard of people trying to do that, but that's pretty interesting. I mean, look at how effortlessly Seagal can block any punch while doing multiple counterattacks. How dare you, Son UV Liberty? How dare you? I mean, we all know what would happen if Anderson tried to actually sucker punch or cheap shot Seagal. I mean, Anderson's on his best behavior here because he knows what'll happen. He knows Seagal could just snap him like a twig and his UFC career would be over. I mean, just permanently broken elbows. I mean, it'd be all over. I mean, just watch how easily Seagal was just going to handle Anderson like a small child. I mean, Anderson Silva's going to be absolutely helpless against anything Seagal wants to do to him. I mean, look at that. He could break his neck right there.
Yeah.
Look at that nose submission. I mean, Anderson tapped so fast. He's never tapped that fast in his life. Look how easily he just dropped Anderson. He got Anderson to tap with his feet right there. I mean, has anybody manhandle Anderson Silva like that other than Chael Sonnen?
Don't grab me here. You punch fast. Punch fast. Okay. Punch fast.
You guys seriously think somebody could land a punch on Seagal? I mean, look at the speed here.
You punch fast.
Anderson's trying to punch. He wasn't going that slow.
Okay. Punch fast.
I mean, obviously he wasn't going full speed. Seagal blocked with one hand and trapped his arm with the other. Anderson didn't even know what happened. So he blocked with his right and then trapped Anderson's arm with his left. And then Anderson's completely open for decimation right here. I mean, Seagal can do whatever he wants to.
How do you say fast? Punch fast.
I mean, look how easily he just dropped the UFC champion. I mean, he just dropped him like a redheaded stepchild. Can you imagine if Seagal wasn't holding back? I mean, his wrist would be gone. He'd never fight again. I mean, has anybody ever seen Anderson just get handled so easily like that? I mean, he could just snap his neck right there. I mean, he could have ended Anderson's life at any moment he chose. He's got him in the camel clutch. I mean, that's a classic pro wrestling move. Anderson isn't escaping that. Palm strikes really are underutilized. Like what Seagal just did there, that would be very effective in the UFC. Like wrestlers coming in for a takedown and just a palm strike to the face or the nose. I mean, because they're shooting in head first. That'd be very effective. A lot safer than a knee coming up to the face too, because then they'd be open. They'd, you know, grab the leg. They can get the takedown easier. But with both legs firmly planting and sprawling while palm striking the face or the nose, I mean, that'd be nasty. I don't know why more people don't utilize it. I mean, Seagal would just wreck everybody. I mean, he'd be UFC champion so easily. I mean, who could handle this? I mean, just look how easily he's ragdolling Anderson Silva. I mean, nobody would have a chance against Seagal. I mean, yes, Sun UV Liberty Boss Rutan did destroy people with palm strikes. I don't think he did double. I don't know if he did these kinds of palm strikes, and not specifically on people shooting, as far as I remember in Pancreas. He did them more as, because I think you actually couldn't even punch with a closed fist in the early Pancreas rules, or at least not to the face.
Yeah. You hear the sound?
I mean, nobody can handle Seagal. I mean, just look how easily. Look how easily he's handling Anderson.
How do you say fast? Punch fast.
I mean, just so easy. And that's Seagal holding back. Can you imagine if Seagal actually wanted to break Anderson's wrist? I mean, it'd be game over. Game over. We can go over one more clip. I think Fei Zhao is a light heavyweight. And Seagal, you can see the speed difference between Seagal, who's probably a super heavyweight, and Fei Zhao in a second. Sun UV Liberty. If I concede, will it stop? Come on, I thought that's what you guys were here for Steven Seagal logical analyses. I mean, you guys just can't handle the greatness. I mean, you can't handle the greatness. That seems to be what it is. This really puts into perspective. Are you guys reevaluating your Seagal versus Chuck Norris claims now? Hello, Cassidy. We're just analyzing Steven Seagal's Aikido skills because some of these blasphemers actually think Chuck Norris can take Seagal. I mean, look at the speed. It's just remarkable. I think Fei Zhao was some kind of champ in Strikeforce, maybe? I forget. I mean, look at this complete mastery of the martial arts. I mean, can anybody stand a chance against Fei Zhao? I mean, well, Seagal. Steven Seagal. There was another clip. I mean, this actually wasn't... This isn't... I thought there was another one. Yeah, there was definitely another one. This one's not as good. This one, they're just kind of playing around. I got a funny Seagal clip for you guys. Seagal can levitate too. I don't know if you guys know that. He's got levitation skills as well. Lord Zed states Joe Rogan and his crew make fun of Seagal, but Anderson, a real champ fighter, clearly respects him. This is eye-opening footage. There's also footage of Seagal training with Lyoto Machida. Real offended. After their training, actually, Anderson knocked out Vitor Belfort with a vicious front kick. I don't know if he's ever knocked anybody out with a front kick before he trained with Seagal. Kill the Bank says, all I remember about Under Siege is that lady coming out of the cake. That wasn't just a lady. Actually, wasn't that actress in Baywatch as well? What about Taylor Swift versus Seagal? Would that be a good fight? Who would want to see that on pay-per-view? Full contact, of course. Chuck Norris did have those drop kicks through windshields. I mean, he was drop kicking a lot of people through windshields. Alright, we got one more Seagal clip for those doubting the skills of this absolute master.
This is Steve Siegel, the only non-Japanese Aikido master. And you will
I mean, let's look at this absolute wreckage.
Notice that the master is merely defending himself, turning his
I mean, the mullet gives him at least +5 speed, +10 power.
exerting very little counterforce of his own.
I mean, look at this. He's tossing people like ragdolls. Can Chuck Norris do that? Can Chuck Norris fight this many opponents at the same time?
Aikido is basically being able to be one with the universe, be one with...
Cassidy said Hannah Montana versus 1980s Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can you imagine what could be done with the proper time machine? I mean, just the matches, like celebrity deathmatch, but for real. Lord Zed said Chuck Norris is a bad dude, but he would have lost against the Jamaican gang. I think so too. I mean, you need a guy like Seagal who's not afraid to break limbs. Like Chuck Norris looks like it would bother him too much to snap that many necks, wrists, elbows, knees, and ankles. Whereas Seagal, it's just the average Tuesday. Earth 7 in the house with the fluoride.
So that you can therefore sense the intention of your attacker. Here.
Aikido works on a philosophy of positive versus negative energy. An aggressive act, such as an attack
I mean, just look at the viciousness.
is negative force. Defense is positive.
I mean, he could probably take out the entire UFC roster in one night, just back to back.
The power of the Aikido master lies in an accumulation of ki.
And give this guy a broom? Forget about it.
Aikido, or being one with the universe, as Steve says, produces some unbelievable results. We don't know how this power works, but we're about to see it demonstrated even more
Seagal was supposed to be in the Expendables, but then I guess he turned that down.
dramatically.
Oh man, that looked like it hurt. Oh man. That guy's tough to take those kinds of stiff arms. I mean, can you imagine what that would have done to Norris? I mean, Norris would not get up from something like that. Oh, man, that was vicious. How's that guy not unconscious?
Now,
I wonder if he treats the female students the same way. I mean, is he feminist enough to treat them the same way? Look at his levitation. I don't think any of you have seen this before. Watch his levitation skills.
either side of him can easily pick him up off the ground.
I mean, look how amazing that is. I bet you guys didn't know that Steven Seagal could levitate. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is true martial arts mastery. I don't see Chuck Norris or Van Damme pulling this off. I mean, I don't even know if Bruce Lee could levitate like this. I mean, look at the levitation master that is Steven Seagal. I mean, look at this. This is incredible. Have you ever seen martial arts like this before? I mean, look at this. When he wants to levitate, he levitates. Double suffocation.
Now he will go one step further for an even
Is he pinky handling this man? He's only got one pinky on him? These two guys can't even beat Seagal's pinky. I mean, come on. Do you guys really think Chuck Norris would have a chance against the guy who can just fend off multiple opponents with his pinky? With his pinky? I mean, this is incredible. I mean, this display of martial arts mastery. I mean, I don't know. Like, can anybody else pull this off? Earth 7 says, C-force doesn't flow from the ground, it bursts from an artesian aquifer with the same unharnessed power and intensity you'd expect from a Chuck Norris roundhouse king. But what about a Steven Seagal pinky? I mean, Steven Seagal could probably wreck the entire UFC roster with his pinky alone. And those burns, I mean, those side burns are like another plus 20 speed, plus 50 strength.
There are no special stances in Aikido. You just stand passively, wait for the attack. Make your move. It's as quick and easy as saying...
Seagal doesn't demonstrate the stiff arms on her? Why not? Alright, we might have to go one more video. I found some older clips we gotta go through. Shifty says, after just 3 marijuanas, I went crazy. Wow, that's interesting. Earth7 said, action film star Chuck Norris and his wife Gino Kelly filed $10 million lawsuit against 11 pharmaceutical manufacturers and distributors. Is that true? Steven Seagal is a super soldier. You guys are sleeping on Steven. I mean, I don't think Chuck Norris can last a round. He might not even be able to last a minute. The real question is, can he last even 20 seconds with someone at the level of Seagal? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. Cassidy, I exist outside of time and space. There isn't a subject that I'm not into. I mean, how can anybody that's interested in science, physics, and logic not be aware of Seagal just ripping through the space-time continuum with those stiff arms? Or Bruce Lee ripping through the space-time continuum with all of his kicks and punches. Or even Van Damme with his flexibility. I mean, you know, anybody who studies physics is familiar with these space-time continuum interrupters, particularly Steven Seagal. All right, we got one more Seagal clip here.
You never know how long.
He's just gonna wreck fools here.
This was a lesson in fear.
I mean, I don't even know how many of his students even survived this kind of training.
That's where the test.
I mean, he's fought off at like up to 5 guys with one arm. I mean, he goes 10 on 1. I mean, nobody is at the level of Seagal. I mean, other than maybe Bruce.
Multiple person attack.
You sit on one side of the dojo, 3 guys are facing you, and when he says, "How'd you
I mean,
make?"
just look at the
you
sheer decimation.
Full speed, and just try to take you
I mean,
down.
Steven Seagal doesn't even have to stand up to
the
wreck
essence
fools.
of the form. That is to say, the idea of the form is to be able to deal with more than one attacker at a time. I mean, if you're dealing one-on-one, and certainly we train, that's
there's
how
a
we train,
reason
but
that
the
all these
idea
guys
is to
talking trash
finish
against Steven never
the
actually
form
walked into his
ready
dojo and
for
challenged him.
another
There's a
attack. That is to
reason
say,
for
finish in a
that.
balanced position. The reason for that
They don't want
is,
to get wrecked.
I mean, O-Sensei was a
And they knew
product
they
of-
would get
of
wrecked.
sword
Otherwise, why
culture.
wouldn't they have
Sword
made a
culture
name
was
off
very
Seagal?
seldom one-on-one. Sword culture was more often more than one attacker against a single opponent. So you have to put your forms together. That is to say, you have to blend with one attack coming at you, neutralize that attack, and then immediately be prepared to deal with the next
Richie says, is it too late to change my vote? It is, but at least now you know
It's an
better.
exercise in freeing yourself up of thinking about all these things.
I mean, if Steven Seagal versus Einstein would be a good one, too.
How your knee hurts, or how this last time this guy clubbed me from the side, or any of that.
If you think, it's too late. If you take the time to make a decision, it's too late. If you hang on to that and you stand in...
It's an episode on wrecking fools, Riz.
Or in other words,
I mean, Seagal just wrecks everybody all the time.
If you stand in that...
I mean, none of these guys can even land a single hit on him. I mean, even if they have a knife.
When he says go...
I think he actually did tell them to actually try to kill him.
Breath.
That's what his students said anyway. I
Being
missed their
in
line.
reality on the street. I mean, there's been situations, I think, on the street that I would want rather than this.
I mean, people are sleeping on Seagal's speed. Because yeah, if you're slow, you're not going to be able to do any of this stuff.
You can't be thinking fear, not fear, anything. Because any thought that goes through your head, it's immediately visible in your body, physically.
It's a matter of relieving yourself
look
from
at
having
this.
to worry about anything.
I mean, this kind of
being able
destruction.
to
I mean, Bruce is
deal with
probably the
whatever
only other
situation
guy that can
they
just
can throw at you,
destroy
whatever
people
three
like
minds
this.
and the dynamics of 3 people coming at you at full speed can do.
Rondori is your first opportunity to get a clue about the infinite.
In the Rondori, if you even did a technique, he didn't care
I
what
think
it was
to
you had
get,
to do.
I don't know if they
Whatever it
have
was,
black belts per
as far as he was
se,
concerned, that was
but
it.
to
You just have
to get
to
to
do
the
it,
advanced
and you
level,
have to
you'd
do it
have to
very
beat
quickly.
10 guys
The
at
main
the
thing is
same
being there
time. That's
in
the
the moment
Aikido
and
test.
dealing with nothing
Or at
but
least the
there.
style
You
that,
got more
that
than one
Steven
person
was
coming at
teaching.
you, and they are all coming at you with the same intent, and simultaneously, you don't want to get captured, and you certainly don't want to get taken to the ground.
For showdown, everything is the same.
This footage is totally legit. You know it, Ray. I mean, his speed alone, even if you want to, if you want to say some of these techniques aren't effective, his
I think that
speed,
Sensei,
even
you
for
know,
being an old
as
fat
an
guy, I mean, he
Anglo,
snaps those kicks so fast, not just
I think that in
not
order
just
to be
with his
treated as
arms,
an
but
equal, my understanding is that he
he's
has
just
to
way
have to
too
be-
fast. You can barely see what he's doing, so a lot of
I
people think
that
it
there
looks
were people
fake,
that
but
came in and challenged him.
he's wrecking people.
He didn't have to be tough, he just was.
You don't get to deal with the man to start with. You got to prove yourself against his students first.
I had no idea what he was doing.
Lord Zed asked, is it possible what people commonly refer to as the Big Bang was actually Seagal in a past life karate chopping an atom? Well, it would be an Aikido strike. Seagal doesn't do karate. Sun UV Liberty, this is why even the fashion cycle wants to pretend the early 90s never happened. I think the Mandela missed the spot. The early 90s were amazing, Sun UV Liberty. How dare you? You're blaspheming against a lot of different people and subjects here.
He's very fast. Like lightning.
You'd sit there and you'd watch him do a technique, and he did it so fast. I had no idea what he just did.
The thing is, if those guys don't flip like that, their wrist snaps. So that's why in Aikido you train to do those falls, because if you don't do them, your wrist snaps, your arm snaps, your elbow snaps.
What did he do? It was too fast, I couldn't see it. And then he did these great flips and...
Jari, just saying hi, watch all the time, thanks.
Different balls and...
Yeah, he just dropped that guy in his
else
neck.
They didn't do it anything like the way he did.
Oh man, those stiff arms are crazy. I've just never seen any footage with Chuck Norris or Van Damme fighting off multiple opponents, regardless of whether the opponents were their students or not. Brian says, loving this episode, my dad got me into Seagal. Seagal's awesome, man. I mean, other than Bruce, I actually don't know of anybody at the level of Seagal in the martial arts world. I mean, other than Bruce, I don't know if anyone other than Seagal has caused more rips in the space-time continuum, with just his absolute devastation of human bodies. Yes, Cassidy. Yes, basic physics. It would be the same as in a car accident. If the vehicle doesn't crumble, it will be your body that does. Shifty says, I used to do a little Aikido training with this guy that took a few classes. We rolled around on the floor a lot. I mean, love him or hate him, at least Seagal's martial arts classes were full contact. Because a lot of the McDojo stuff, I mean, that stuff's not, I mean, they're not making any kind of contact on anything. They're just practicing the kata and some extremely light sparring, if any. A lot of McDojos, especially back in the day, they didn't do any kind of sparring. So, I mean, Seagal was ahead of the times. He was also the only Westerner to ever even have a dojo in Japan. I mean, he was legit. I mean, especially back then, in the, what was it, the late 70s? Early 80s, there's no American opening up dojos in Japan or China. Are you crazy? I mean, just, he would have had to have been at a much higher level than the local guys to even have a dojo. Does anybody actually think Hoist Gracie would even stand a chance if Seagal was in the first UFC? I think there was I know Benny the Jet Urquidez wanted to be in the UFC. The Gracies were so corrupt they didn't let him because he knew he would beat them, and they were trying to just make an infomercial for their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. So they never allowed Urquidez, and there were 2 or 3 other guys that they did not allow in. It wasn't Seagal as far as I know, but I think there was another Aikido guy that they did not allow into the UFC. And even more for the haters, like a lot of the reason the McDojo kids got beat up in schools by athletic kids or, you know, wrestlers, because they weren't used to getting hit. Like again, love them or hate them, if you're training with Seagal, you're getting beat down every single day. You're learning how to take strikes and falls. You're not going to be intimidated in a fight. You might lose, but it won't be because you don't know how to take a shot. I mean, that's a powerful stiff arm. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just pure decimation. Yes, kill the bank. I mean, there's a lot of fraudsters out there, but that Tai Chi guy is not Steven Seagal. I mean, damn. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up in a little bit. Is there any other Seagalisms that people wanna go over? I mean, there's a whole book on Seagology. I mean, I suggest everybody check it out. I mean, it should be required reading in every school as far as I'm concerned, but... if you guys want to, we might do logical analyses of fights. That'd be interesting. Riz, the Tai Chi guy got his social credit rating reduced. Alright, any final questions tonight? Any final questions? Any other questions about the man, the myth, the legend that is Steven Seagal? His last good movie, I would say, probably Exit Wounds with DMX. That was pretty cool. I think that might have also been his last theatrical release. That might have been around 2000, 2001 maybe. What movie was it where he said you should not have said that to me? I don't know. You could take that to the bank, Senator. The blood bank. I think that was that Above the Law or Hard to Kill? I don't even remember that one. I am Iron's Cat. Thank you, Bruce. I'm glad you like Cyborg as much as I do. I mean, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't know what people are hating on it for. Especially the crucifixion scene and the finale in the rain. I mean, that was one of the best villains of all time, too, just from the look. Just the absolute psychotic, ripped guy. Have you seen the director's cut? I'm gonna watch that pretty soon. Cassidy, Anna, I honestly only remember the Under Siege movies. Yeah, I might be in the minority here, but I thought those were some of his worst ones. I mean, they're still fun, but his first run was phenomenal. Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice. They were all, I mean, those are my favorite ones. His first 5 or so. Just phenomenal. And then Exit Wounds, because it was kind of funny. Shifty said, I live close to the hospital where DMX died. Oh, that's another rabbit hole. Might have to do a DMX podcast. He made some interesting comments in the last few years of his life as well, Illuminati related. But yeah, this one was fun. Steven Seagal, of course, always on the docket on a Mindshock podcast. I think in the last Q&A, we went over the video where he literally took a tank and ran down Jesus' house killing animals to prevent animal cruelty. Yeah, I believe it's called the Slinger Cut. The Cyborg Slinger Cut. I think the Slinger Cut is the director's cut. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. I'll try to watch it before the next Q&A. Brian, how dare you bring up Patriot? Oh man, that one was tough to watch. That was probably, that actually led to, yeah, if he didn't come out with, actually Fire Down Below was really good too. People sleep on that one. Fire Down Below was pretty phenomenal. I don't remember if Patriot was the one right after that. It might have been. It might have been. And then he kind of went downhill after Patriot. Is there anybody that likes the movie Patriot with Seagal? Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death is pretty awesome too. That's where he fights Jamaicans. And Out for Justice, which arguably is the funniest Seagal movie. He fights Dan Inosanto in that one in a bar fight. Bruce Lee's main student, Dan Inosanto. Seagal fights him in Out for Justice. Out for Justice might be Seagal's funniest movie. I don't mean intentional comedy, but... So, Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, and Marked for Death was his first run. I like Fire Down Below, too. That one was a little later. Oh, the Alaska movie. That's the one he directed, On Deadly Ground. Heracles comes to save the day. Yeah, On Deadly Ground is required viewing as well. He was ahead of the curve on environmentalism. Yeah, he directed that movie. That was On Deadly Ground. Kelly LeBrock was Hard to Kill, I think. They did a really funny interview on, was it Arsenio Hall? All right, next Q&A, we'll go over Steven Seagal interviews, because he's got some funny CIA references as well. Yeah, On Deadly Ground was pretty fun. But if you haven't seen Out for Justice, okay, if I could only pick, oh, it's so tough. Because I have to pick at least three. I'd have to go Above the Law, Out for Justice, and Marked for Death, probably. If I could only pick three Seagal movies. Yeah, On Deadly Ground was, supposedly he said he was Native American. I'm trying to remember. I think I think Fire Down Below was after On Deadly Ground. Wow, he's got 2 movies coming out. Above the Law 2 is in pre-production. I think they've been trying to do that one for a long time. Seagal might want too much money. So he did Under Siege was 92, On Deadly Ground was 94, Under Siege 2, 95. Oh, Executive Decision, I forgot. Oh, The Glimmer Man. We forgot about The Glimmer Man. That was decent as well. The Glimmer Man. Then it was Fire Down Below. Then it was The Patriot in 98. And then he didn't do anything for a couple of years until Exit Wounds. And I think Exit Wounds was his last theatrical release. It was actually pretty good. I don't know why, well, his other movies after that weren't. You only made it halfway Fire Down Below is actually pretty good. Heracles, what are you doing? Sun UV said the sequel to Fire Down Below should be called Penicillin. Alright, well, this was fun, guys. We'll call it here. On the next Q&A, I think we'll probably have to do genre Q&A because people they want, it would be a little easier. I know there's people with true crime questions, and this is kind of like a free-for-all Q&A, but yeah. On the Seagal podcast, I'm actually also going to go over the issues between Seagal and the mob. There was an issue about him testifying against the mob as well. One of the guys that bankrolled his movies was involved with the mafia. You know what we were robbed of? Steven Seagal, Joe Pesci collaboration. I mean, can you imagine a Scorsese movie with Seagal and Joe Pesci? I mean, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah, why not throw Nicolas Cage in there as well? Yeah, good call, Brian. I mean, that would just be a fantastic movie. I mean, who wouldn't watch that? Cass asks, Bruce, can you get him on for an exclusive Mindshock interview? I will try to get Seagal on. I'm not sure if he would do it until after I release the Seagal episode, because I think he thinks a lot of people just want to make fun of him. He did a phone call on, if you don't know about Viking Samurai, the Viking Samurai channel, I forgot the guy's name. He actually talked to Seagal on a phone call, and he had some of Seagal's students on his channel. So yeah, you could check out the Viking Samurai channel. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, that's it for now. Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Mindshock Live Q&A series. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. If you're still not getting them, like and comment on more video. Or you can just go to youtube.com/Mindshock. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.